Why is it right now that the whole world is ganging up on Mario Kart World? I mean, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds fans have been ganging up on Mario Kart, and now Kirby fans are all ganging up on Mario Kart after the recent Direct. What is going on? This is something that's happening every day I go on Twitter. It's people saying Sonic is better. And now with Kirby in that recent Direct, people are just full on board that Mario Kart World is the absolute worst racer this year. And I think another problem is this is just a year of some really good racers. I mean, I put in a lot of time in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and I do think it's slightly better than Mario Kart World. And after what I just saw with Kirby Air Riders, dude, it's probably going to be my favorite racer of the entire year. But even with all of that said, Mario Kart World still wasn't a bad game to me. It just felt unfinished. It felt After waiting about 11 years for the next Mario Kart game, I think we all just had really high hopes and expectations that they would just go above and beyond, and I feel like in some aspects they definitely did that, but in others it just felt so flat. Like, yes, there's costumes and tons of characters, and then also the fact that there's this giant open world, but the things that they do with it, like the lack of anything to really do on that open world, and the fact that half the characters only have one costume, and also the fact that we might have over 200 intermission tracks, every single one of them is just a dead straight boring drive. And I think the reason why people are so mad right now and just absolutely dogging on Mario Kart is because when we're seeing the effort that other companies like Sega's pouring into Sonic Cross Worlds and what the heck Sakurai's doing with Kirby Air Riders, I mean, it seems like he is just putting full effort into that game. When you see these developers really just flooding their game full of content, fun DLC announced, or Sakurai said, forget the DLC, everything that you're seeing is going to be in the game at once, just tons of content from day one. And then you look at Mario Kart World, that kind of feels unfinished. There's no content coming in the future, at least they haven't announced anything, and it's already been almost 5 months. It just feels like Nintendo kind of lazily slapped together some ideas in Mario Kart World without really realizing them. And trust me, I never thought we'd even be in this position in the first place. I thought by the time we got the next Mario Kart after 11 years, it'd be this big blowout game that everyone had no choice but to give it a 10 out of 10 because it was just so awesome. But yeah, seeing the position that we're in, where I actually ended up giving the game a 7 out of 10, it just didn't sit right with me, and it feels strange. And as much as I want to be nice and say, there's good things about this game, and there are, I've talked about it tons of times, all the positives, and I even gave lots of constructive criticisms as to how they can fix this game, but still, I have to be brutally honest. And when you look at an $80 price tag at a game that has the most bare bones online battle mode, half of the roster having one or no costumes, extremely straight straightaways, and hardly any other game modes to play online with the same 8 knockout tour cups, you start to really see all the flaws in this game, not to mention a giant open world that's simply there for a couple of ring challenges, and that's it. And with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, it may not have anything as ambitious as a giant open world, but the things it does have really locks in with its tight racing gameplay, and there's lots of different options, customization, tons of characters, tons of DLC characters, and tracks coming in the future. Nothing about the game feels unfinished or rushed in any capacity. It feels like this is the game that was meant to come out, and everything that's coming out in DLC is these fun guest characters like freaking SpongeBob and Minecraft Steve. It also gets so much worse when Sakurai shows up with not one but 2 directs dedicated to the game just because there's so much content in it. Like, Nintendo had one 15-minute direct for Mario Kart World, and it was one of the worst directs I have ever watched in my entire life. They literally spent 15 minutes telling us how you drift, what the items are like in the game, and showing us some tracks. There was hardly, if any, new information during the entire 15-minute presentation, where Sakurai has a 45-minute, then a 60-minute presentation where every second is full of something new and something exciting for us to look at and look forward to in the game, while still having tons of things that he's not telling us about in the game. Mario Kart World had this direct, and everything we seen in the 15-minute direct was what we got in the full game. There was no surprises, no secret characters, or anything outside of freaking Rainbow Road, which we're guaranteed to get. And we know Sakurai is a really great game developer. I mean, we've known this from just watching his own YouTube channel and how he was worked on past games like the past Smash Brothers series, where he goes in depth with how much effort it takes to add one single fighter and all the details that goes into his games. I mean, for crying out loud, he started the direct saying like there's a lot of content in this game and we didn't really feel like we could add the top ride mode, but you know what, we did it anyways because fans love it. And that's just the thing, fans don't really love top ride. In fact, I was one of the few people I knew that enjoyed this mode on the original game, and most people just blew it off and play the regular racing mode. But still, Sakurai wanted to bring this mode back, and he brings it back in the highest capacity. It has new and customizable controls. You can actually change your machine on this mode now, and there's like tons of new characters with their own special abilities, and there's items and stuff on the track. It just feels like a new and improved and bigger, better version of a silly little mode that most people didn't even care about. Like, this is something that he absolutely didn't need to do, but he did it. Sakurai took customization to a whole nother level. How come we couldn't get a driver's license in Mario Kart World? You know, a Mario Kart game, for crying out loud. Like, Sakurai had the idea to give us our own custom license where we can change the name, we can even see our global win power, how good we are. There's even like a little ranking badge, which means there's a ranking system in this game, which gives people reasons to go online and compete. And the fact that you can completely customize this thing is just insane. I mean, you can literally make it uniquely yours. He could have just slapped a regular lobby system where you just click on this profile menu and you sit and wait until the game starts. But no, he created its own little hub world with this little hangout garage where you can run around off of the vehicle as your character. You can emote, you can talk to each other, play little games in the little room as you sit and wait. Like, it's just the little things. And I just want to shoot back to the ranking system because this is something that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds has, and this is something that obviously Kirby's going to have, where it gives you an incentive to play online. It gives you a reason to go online and spend countless hours racing against other players and putting you in groups of players that are very, very similar to your skill level and giving you a reason to level up. And it just seems like there's so many different ways to play with thousands of different game modes, man. I mean, even in the racing mode itself, there's a mode where you can actually like switch different vehicles after each lap, kind of like, you know, swapping characters in Smash Ultimate. Of course, we have the giant open map of City Trial, which also has tons of different after game events for us to play, including one where we're fighting bosses in a racing game, which was something that we could do in Mario Kart DS over 20 years ago and never's returned to the series since. I mean, I could seriously sit here and talk nonstop about how everything that Kirby Air Riders does better than Mario Kart World, and maybe that's a video when the game actually launches. But I mean, it would be a 7-hour video because it's almost in every aspect. Oh, we have time trials too, but our time trials is even more in depth, where it actually gives you your time on every single track with every single independent vehicle, so you can see which vehicle is the best for you. Sakurai notes how it's a racing game, so normally with racing games, it doesn't have a lot of content, and your content is going to come from playing online. But he says, no, screw that. We're going to have a lot of things for you to do by bringing back the checklist, which he has a total of 5 giant challenge walls filled with side missions for us to unlock and complete, where we can unlock parts and unlock customizational options and also new characters. It's just like, this gives you a reason to go back and play this game non-stop without even having to worry about going online. Oh, Mario Kart World, your characters have some costumes and the only thing you can do to your cart is put one sticker out of the thousands that are available in-game? Well, guess what? We have full cart customization where you can make your cart distinctly personalized to you, where no one else in the world could have your combination. Because you can also decorate your characters that already come with alts in this game. You can have an alt of King DDD wearing a turban. And it just doesn't end. From music customization, where there's remixes of past Kirby tracks and new Kirby tracks, and you can customize which ones play when, create your own little playlist of music. There's a beautiful menu screen laid out with tons of side modes and extra things that you can play around with, mini games and options to customize your game the way you want to play, including your field of view and even the way the camera moves. And for crying out loud, this game is still hiding tons of things. They didn't reveal all the characters, and for instance, there's a whole huge story mode called Road Trip that they barely even showed off, and they showed just enough to get people hype and to let them know yet again there's even more gameplay for you to have here. It feels an awful lot like Spirit Mode and Classic Mode combined into one, but that's for a whole nother video. But either way, there's like full cinematic cutscenes that are animated and cameos. I mean, look at some of these cutscenes. It looks like it's pulled out of like a straight up high budget Kirby animated movie. I mean, like, seriously, the stuff that we're getting in this game is just insane. And this is just the second Kirby racing game and the last one of all time, because Sakurai said, I'm done after this one. Now, it's clear that Kirby Air Riders is going to have tons of content, and it's going to be a probably really good game, but what does that have to do with Mario Kart World? Why do people hate on Mario Kart World as much as they have been? Well, it's simple. For the first and only $80 Switch 2 game, we would expect at least everything that we've already seen in Kirby Air Riders, plus probably even more at that price. And for what we paid, it just doesn't feel like it. Now, yes, there's a bundle and a lot of us only had to pay $50, but still, it doesn't excuse the fact that Nintendo's pricing it at $80 as a separate game. There's some really magnificent things they added with this game, with the whole trick system, and the 3-lap tracks are absolutely wonderful, but everything else just feels lazy. It feels like there's very little game modes, little reason to return to the game after playing it for a little bit, no checklist of missions or achievements to collect. I mean, yes, there's P-switch missions, but I mean, there's no real way to track them down. It only tells you how many you collected, not how many is left and where to find the others. You're gonna have to use a guide, which feels like it's completely against what Nintendo even wanted us to do in the first place. So yeah, it just doesn't feel like there's any way to complete the game or go back and replay the game besides going online and playing one of the, 3 boring game modes? There's no events. We've been through another general Nintendo Direct with no news on updates or even DLC coming to the game. It seems like Nintendo's just letting the game rot slowly, and that's just what's so painful about this thing. I love Mario Kart, and as a huge Mario Kart 8 Deluxe fan, I was extremely let down to see where Mario Kart World took the direction of the series. It's unfortunate that the game just feels so incomplete. I think the best way to put it is it feels like Nintendo was just content. You know, we know how well Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold. It's one of our best-selling, if not the best-selling game of all time right now. So yeah, we don't really have a reason to do anything crazy with this next Mario Kart game. We don't need to put in tons of details or fun little Easter eggs or secrets or just tons of options for players to have and extra game modes. We don't need any of that. We can do pretty much the bare minimum and get away with it, and that's exactly what it feels like they did. There's no love that it feels like it's poured into this game. It doesn't feel like they did the little things that make fans happy. The little things that only fans would notice. It felt like they were here just to get out another Mario Kart game since it's been so long, and that is why people are upset. And with this being about the 10th Mario Kart game in the series, Nintendo should be doing a lot more than this, and they know better. Sakurai is making a second Kirby Air Ride game, and it's going to be the last one. And it's already got 10 times the amount of content than any other Mario Kart in the series. And while all being $10 cheaper, and I guarantee you, if it was up to Sakurai, he probably would charge $60 for this game, but Nintendo's probably pushing him to do $70 since it is another Switch 2 exclusive. But here's the thing, I've made tons of videos talking about, hey, it's not cool just to be a complete, Nintendo hater on every single thing, and as you can tell, that's not the case. I am praising Kirby Air Riders the same way I praise Donkey Kong Bonanza. But I think as Nintendo fans, we need to keep it real and tell Nintendo when they messed up. And I feel like with Mario Kart World, we have to let Nintendo know. It's even more painful when you sit and realize that it's going to be another probably 7 to 8 years plus until we get a new Mario Kart game where they have the chance to try again. So yeah, by then, I mean, it's a whole almost decade later. I mean, they could do the same thing again and be 10 to 11 years and try to chuck in tons of late DLC and content into Mario Kart World like 4 to 5 years from now. I hope that's not the case, but who knows. But we should be vocal and let our voices be heard about this game. I will never get upset by someone criticizing Mario Kart World because it needs it. It's lacking that flair, that love, that passion that Sakurai is pouring into Kirby Air Riders, and it makes me kind of hope that Sakurai takes over development for Mario Kart at this point because man, what other developer is putting in the amount of content that Sakurai does? And it makes me so excited for even the next Smash Brothers game, for him maybe even going to Kid Icarus Uprising and maybe remaking that game or bringing in a new Kid Icarus game as a new project later on. I'm always interested to see what Sakurai is working on next, so I'm sure Nintendo is now throwing him into the mine shaft of working on the next Smash game, but I will say thank you, Sakurai. I feel like over the course of my gaming life, I've been saying thank you, Sakurai. Thank you for the amazing Subspace Emissary story mode that we still haven't gotten returned yet, but thank you for that in Smash Brawl. Thank you for the amazing characters and reveals that we've gotten over the years through Smash 4 and even with Smash Ultimate and all of its amazing DLC and its final conclusion with Sora. Just thank you, Sakurai, adding every single character back from the entire history of Smash and even brand new ones. He's just really done it all, man. He puts in full effort, opening up his own YouTube channel. I mean, this is what we need with developers, and we should be pushing for companies to be more like Sakurai, to be giving, caring, not focused and worried on DLC before a game even drops, which he already announced. No DLC here. Everything is here day one. Filling the game with tons of content, tons of choices, options, customization. This is how you make a game, and I have never been more excited for a racing game than I am for Kirby Air Riders. So I want to hear from you guys. How excited are you for Kirby Air Riders? Are you more excited for it than you were Mario Kart World now? Are you kind of just still on the fence, or maybe you still just are happy with Mario Kart World and maybe not looking forward to this game? But I'm very curious, so let me know down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I hope you all have a blessed day. See you guys.